Hey, hi guys, welcome back. So, as you can see in my screen, today's topic is mastering Excel operation in Tosca. Okay, so today we will see how we can handle Excel operation. Okay, using inbuilt Excel module. Okay, and also we will try to handle Excel using a database module. Okay, see Excel operation using Excel module. So as said, first we will use the inbuilt Excel modules, okay, and we will perform some operations, okay, like from scratch, creating Excel file, then we'll create a sheet, then we will write something in the Excel sheet, then we will read the data, then if any existing Excel sheet is there, Excel file is there, okay, so in that how many rows or columns are there that we will get, and then if any particular cell text is there, we want to count how many times it is repeated in that particular Excel sheet. That also we will see today. And if we want to check if particular cell exists or not in that Excel file, that also we will see, as well as if you want to iterate over each records, okay, in Excel sheet. If you have multiple data and you want to iterate over each record, and if you want to buffer all the data, that part also we will see using the inbuilt Excel module. Okay, after that we will see how we can use Excel as a database. Okay, when I say Excel as database means whatever operations we are performing through inbuilt Excel modules, okay, the same operations we will try to use as a database queries. Okay, so that will be much faster than the inbuilt modules. Okay, so let's quickly start. This video will be a bit long today. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, so let's start without wasting time. Okay, let me directly jump to Tosca, and here I have already created a folder called Excel operation, and one test case I have created Excel operations using Excel module. Okay, so let me just create first folder where we will create one Excel file. Okay, empty Excel file. Okay, so um, you know where will be the Excel modules, right? When you navigate to standard module, then engine, and then you have Excel folder. Okay, in that Excel folder you have all the Excel modules. So now we will first create one Excel file. Okay, an empty Excel file will create. I will drag and drop here. Okay, name I have given a create Excel file. So it will take few parameters. Workbook name, you can give any name. Okay, workbook 1 I have given, and path you have to give the path. So let me navigate to path in my local. Let's, okay, this is one path. Okay, um, this is the path. Okay, folder path, and let me give one file name sample dot xlx. Okay, so this is the extension of Excel file. Okay, I have created one Excel file. Okay, so and here next one is create new, which will be true because we are creating a new Excel file and we don't need a password. It's not password protected. Okay, so just leave all other options, and now just give a run. Okay, so test case is showing as passed. Okay, let's see. It is saying workbook is created successfully in this path. Okay, let me navigate to this path. Okay, it's D Excel. Okay, let me navigate to this path. Okay, and in this folder it is showing as empty. Okay, you can see here that workbook, whatever the location on the file we have given, it is saying it is created successfully, but there is no file created in this folder. We know the reason why, because we have not saved the file. Here we have created the file, but we have not saved it. So with whenever you use any Excel module to open a file, or if you are modifying anything, creating new file, then you have to save it. Okay, you have to save it, so that if you are modifying, that content will be saved, modified contents. And if you are creating a new file, then for you have to save it, otherwise you will not see that file into that particular location. So as to save the file, we have again a separate module. This is the module. So let me just drag and drop. Okay, and let me give the same workbook name. Okay, workbook 1. Okay, this is the name which I have given here. And then path is not required. Okay, just select save here. Okay, if you want to select in some other format, okay, like in the CSV format or CSV to Excel format, like that, you can select say save as type. Okay, and then if you want to save in some other location, then you can use that different path here. Okay, but now for now we are saving in the same path. Okay, so I'm not giving any path here, just operation as save. And this time let me just run this, and you will see one folder, sorry, one Excel file will be created here. As you can see in my screen here, one Excel file is created which is empty now. Okay, by default we have a sheet 1. Okay, inside Excel sheet. Okay, by default Excel file, by default it will be sheet 1. Okay, but it's empty now. So let me create one new sheet. Okay, so let me create one folder here. Okay, and create new sheet. Okay, create new sheet, and we have a module available to create a new sheet. Okay, create Excel worksheet. This is the new sheet. Let me drag and drop here. Okay, and give the workbook name which we have given in the previous step. Okay, with the first step when we were creating Excel sheet. Okay, workbook 1, you can see here workbook 1, and worksheet name. So let me just create give a name, data, and worksheet order, like if you want to create after sheet 1 or before sheet 1, like that. So you can see here 1, if you select 1, the order will be 1 here. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, and this time, okay, this time I will just drag and drop here just to save. Okay, and here the option will get changed here, because now we are not creating any new file. In the existing file we are creating a sheet, so this option will be false. Okay, so if this is false means it will refer to this file, it will open the file, then it will add the sheet, then it will save the file. Okay, let's run it. So test case is passed. Okay, so let's open that file and check. Okay, you can see here a new sheet has been created here with the name data. Earlier it was, we had only one sheet, sheet 1. Now we have data sheet. Okay, added here. Okay, so we are able successfully able to create a sheet. Okay, so now next operation is we have a Excel file created, sheet created. Now next thing is to enter the data into that Excel sheet. Okay, so insert data into Excel sheet. Okay, to insert the data again, let me just keep this in the last step, one folder. Okay, because every time we need this closing. Okay, I have to drag and drop again, so better you create one folder and keep at the last step. Okay, so this is to open Excel workbook, then create sheet. Now we want to insert. Okay, to insert a data in the Excel sheet, we have a separate module. So before that, we have to define the range, okay, Excel range, as well as after defining, we have to insert the data. So these two module will be helpful, okay, in inserting the data into the Excel sheet. Okay, so let me drag and drop here. Define Excel range. What we have to give here, we have to provide the same workbook name which we have given, workbook 1, worksheet name which we have created, data. Okay, range, you can give any name, like I will give range 1, and here start cell, end cell. So let me give some maximum here, like 1000. Anyhow, we are not going to enter this many data, so let me give just Z100. Okay, so range is nothing but, let me show you, for those who don't know. Okay, so range is nothing but a cell. When I'm creating on cell, you can see here B2. Okay, now A1. If I'm creating here, it is showing Q16. Okay, if I click here, it is showing C14. So this is called range. Okay, so I have given A12, and I have given Z100. Okay, if you um, here when I'm clicking here X66, like that I have given Z100. Okay, so it I can enter a data between A1 to Z100. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, and now range we have created. The next one is manipulation Excel range. So this is the module where, using this we will insert the data in the Excel file. Okay, so range will be the same name which we have given above, range 1, and the data, see here, this will be in row and column, row and cell. Okay, format, if you want to enter manipulate the data row wise, you can use this one. If you want through column wise, then you can use this particular attribute. Okay, so in Excel also you would have seen the data will be in row and column format. Okay, so first I want to enter a header for my Excel sheet. So for header, what I will give hash 1. Okay, I can give hash 1 here, and then cell 1. So first cell, okay, first row, first cell. Suppose this is data which I want to insert related to the any employee for company. Okay, so first I will give header as employee ID. Okay, this will be insert. Second cell, okay, I want to enter employee name, and let's give one more column here. Third will be like company. Okay, and let's give one more. Okay, sorry, let's give one more hash 4. Okay, for designation. Okay, designation, all will be input since we are inserting data into the Excel sheet. Okay, so now what I have done, first I have created a range. Okay, A1 to Z100. So in between this range I can manipulate the data. Okay, and after that what I'm doing, I have provided the same range. Okay, and then hash 1 means it will consider header. Okay, first row. Okay, first row. So first row I want it as my header. So I have given hash 1, and this is the cell value. Okay, employee ID, employee name, company, and designation. So this will be my header columns. Okay, so let me just execute this test case and see whether it is creating a header for me or not. Okay, so let's run. So test case is showing as failed. So let's see why it has failed. Okay, create new sheet. Okay, so I forgot to disable this particular step. okay, because we don't want to create a sheet every time. Okay, so let's give a run. So test case is showing as passed. Okay, so let's open the sheet and see whether that four headers column has been added or not. You can see here in the data, employee ID, employee name, company, and designation. Okay, these four header columns I have given, it has created successfully. Okay, so we are able to enter the data. Okay, just header we have inserted. Now I want to enter the some data, okay, into the Excel sheet for my header columns. Okay, so the same module we will use here. Okay, what we will do this time, suppose I want to enter in the second row. Okay, so I will give $2. Okay, and either you can use #1, #2, #3, #4. Okay, or else you can use the column names. Okay, you can use like this, you can just give the column names here. Okay, Control C and let me paste it. You can use column name or else you can use index like #1, #2, #3, #4. Okay, so let me just give some random function. Let me use 4-digit. Okay, and employee name. Okay, let me just give between 1 to between 1000 to 2000. Okay, employee ID should be between 1000 to 2000. I have given range. Okay, and let me use random text here for name. Okay, 5 character. Even for company, let me use random. Okay, just I am entering some random data. Okay, now let me quickly run. Okay, and check. So one row of data should get created a random data. Okay, so our test case is passed. Let's jump to the Excel sheet and let's open and check. Okay, you can see here one row of data has been created. These all are dummy values, random values I have created, but our motive is to check whether we are able to and insert the data into the Excel sheet or not. Okay, so we are able to enter. Okay, but if we have a requirement, okay, if we have a requirement to enter around 100 of rows, okay, hundreds of employee data, then you will not go and enter here like this is #2. Now you will not create like this, right? #3 third row like that. You will not create hundreds of rows right here. It will take lot of time. Okay, it will consume lot of time and effort also. Okay, so to handle such thing, like if you want to enter multiple rows, okay, so we have to use a concept called repetition. Okay, so till now if you are following my videos, then you would be aware of repetition concept. Okay, so if you are not able, if you don't know how to use repetition, then you can go and check my video on the repetition. Okay, so what we will do here now, for insert, okay, we want to insert a data. Okay, so for that, inside this insert data into Excel sheet, I will create one folder. Okay, with I will give the name as repetition. Okay, and inside repetition, okay, what step we need to pull inside this folder? I want to pull this module because this is the module I am using to insert a data. So this particular module I will pull inside repetition folder, and I want to now I will give only 20. Okay, because 100 means it will take some time. Okay, so otherwise video will get long. Okay, it will become long, so better will insert only 20 records. When you try, you can insert 1000 records also. Okay, so you can, while practicing, you can insert as many as you want. Okay, you can insert. So now I have given 20, so 20 time 20 records it should enter. Okay, and here, okay, here instead of hard code, if I give 2 means 20 times it will repeat, and in the row 2 only it will enter replace 20 times. Okay, but we want 20 records. Okay, so let me give here hash of repetition. I want to use a repetition value here. So every time this repetition value will change. Now I have given 20. So first iteration it will be hash 1, second iteration it will be hash 2, third iteration it will be hash 3. Like that it will be, it will iterate 20 times. Okay, but now we, if I give hash 1 means what it will do, you can see hash 1, it is pointing to my header row. Okay, header row. If I give hash 1, it will overwrite with the data, random data which we are passing. So what we can do here, instead of hash we can use dollar. Okay, dollar. So I have already told the difference between hash and dollar. If you are using hash means it will point out to header. Okay, hash 1 means header. If you write dollar 1 means directly it will point to the first record. Okay, this difference I have already told in one of my video. Okay, so I am instructing Tosca to start entering the data from first record. Okay, excluding header. Okay, I already have a record in the second row, which is our actual record from where it is starting. Okay, so but what I want to replace that. That is fine if it replace also, but my header should not get overwrite. Okay, so now dollar one means it will point out to, let me open the Excel sheet, then it will be clear for you all. Okay, if I give dollar one means it will point out to this record. If I give hash one means it will point out to my headers. So I am now currently pointing out to first record. Okay, but first record you already have, that's fine, let it get replaced. Okay, so let me close it and let me just run it. Okay, and see whether it is creating 20 a record, okay, in the Excel sheet or not. So test case is showing as passed. Let's jump to the sheet. Okay, you can see 20 rows of data has been created. Okay, it's 21 because first record is the header. You can see here, with the use of repetition we are able to create 20 rows of data. But if you create manually it will take time, right? If 20 means you can create, okay, that will not take much time, but if it's 1000 means it will take time, right? So with the help of repetition you can insert a data. Okay, with insert a data, just you have to give, in the repetition you have to mention how many rows of data you want to insert. Okay, like how I have given here, like 20 rows of data. If I change to 50 means it will create 50 rows of data. And here you have to mention the repetition here because you want to enter data in the new rows every time. Okay, if you mention some hard coded value, every time it will point out to that particular row and it will insert the data, then it will next repetition it will overwrite the data. Okay, okay, so now we are successfully able to and insert the data. Now the next operation is, okay, the next operation is to get the count, like how many rows of data we have or how many columns we have in our Excel sheet. Okay, so let me, I have one Excel sheet, okay, created already. Okay, this is the Excel sheet which I have created to demonstrate this Excel operation. Okay, so this is the sheet where we have around 50 rows of data. So this we will use for our next operations. Okay, so now we have 50 rows of data here, including header it's 51. Okay, so we want to get the total number of rows as well as column, how many columns we have. Okay, so here we have sheet 1. Okay, so let me do one thing, let me create one folder. Okay, separate folder here to, just let me give Excel operation. Okay, and let me use that same modules. Okay, control, I will do control C and paste here. Okay, and I need define range. Okay, even I need Excel range. Okay, and I need, if I'm modifying anything, I need close Excel sheet, but to read, for reading and all, we don't need Excel sheet, so that's fine. Okay, leave it. Now I am using this file. Okay, employee data. So let me do one thing, let me copy and paste inside this folder. Okay, okay, it's already open. Okay, so let me paste and let me copy the path. Okay, and paste here. If it's in double quote also, that's fine. Okay, so we don't want to create a new file. Okay, so this option is false, and leave this range as it is. And let me show you a new feature. Okay, I have already shown in my last video of interview questions and answer series, like how you have to, how you can take the row count or column count. Okay, without mentioning the start or end cell. So if you have a newer version of Tosca, okay, if you click on data range, you will see there is one small icon for drop down. If you click, we are having two options, explicit and used range. Explicit means, if you mention explicit means, you have to explicitly, you have to mention the range. This is how I have mentioned while entering the data, right? So you have to mention, otherwise you can use used range. Okay, once you use used range, no need to provide here start cell or end cell. So now I have mentioned used cell. What I will do, okay, range I have provided the same. Now I will take the row count here, row count, and let me give total rows. Okay, and action mode will be buffer, because we want to buffer how many rows we have in that sheet, Excel sheet. And here one more modification, worksheet name is not data, it's sheet 1. Okay, the data sheet we had in our previous Excel, but now for next set of operations we are going to use a new sheet, which is employee detail sheet. Okay, sorry, employee detail Excel file. Okay, so now let me quickly run this and check whether we are getting output as um, 51 or not, or whether it's giving the actual record excluding header. Okay, let's see what result it is giving. So test case is passed, and let's check. Okay, uh, let's check the buffer viewer. Okay, the name we have given total rows. Let's see total rows we have here. You can see here it is giving total rows as 51, which is including header. Okay, so see here, without giving the range, okay, without providing the range, we are able to, with the new feature with used range, we are getting the row count. Okay, which is giving including header. So if you want actual count, then what you have to do, you have to do just total total record or total rows. Okay, minus 1. So you know this operation, right? Math, then you have to use buffer, buffer of total rows. Okay, this is the only buffer which we have used in the above step. Okay, total rows minus 1. So if I just translate, okay, and check. Now we are getting 20, 50. That is our actual record. 51 we were getting through, sorry, 51 we were getting including header, but we want our actual record. So if you do -1, okay, total record -1, you will get your actual number of rows. Okay, so now we are getting our total number of rows 50. Okay, if same way, if you want column, okay, this is to get, not rows, row count. Okay, if you want column count, again let me just copy and paste, get column count. Okay, and instead of here row count, you can use column count and total column. Okay, now let's run and check whether we are getting correct column and rows. Already we have got. Okay, so whether we are getting correct column count or not. Okay, so test case is showing as failed. Okay, let's see why it is failing. Okay, this, it is currently in use. It is saying it's currently in use. Let's check. Okay. Okay. My bad, because instead of running this, I have what I have done. I have run this full test case. Okay. So let me just run this particular folder. Okay. Sorry guys. I will do this all silly mistakes always. Okay. So let's see whether we are getting correct column or row count or not. So let's open the buffer viewer and check total rows. Already we have seen, so we have to check total column. Okay, so just total column, you can see it is showing 8. Okay, let's cross check whether we have 8 columns. When I'm not sure how many columns we have. 1 2 h means it's 8 only. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so total 8 columns we have. So we are getting the correct result. Okay, this is then, if you have the new version, then you will see this option like used range. Otherwise you can follow the older approach like row count, how we used to take. You can refer my previous videos related to Excel. You will see how I have taken the Excel row count and column count. Okay, but if you have new version, you can follow this approach. Okay, so we got row count and column count. Okay, and with the new version, okay, with the new version, you have one feature called buffered array. Okay, so if you want to store, okay, in any column or row, okay, in the form of array, then you can use that feature. So let me show you. Okay, let me create one folder, store data in array. Okay, so for that, again I need these 3 steps. Okay, open Excel workbook, the same we will use. Range also let it be same. Okay, and here store data in array. Okay, so let me delete this. And suppose if you want to store the first row of data, okay, whole row of data in one array, so what you have to give, just $1 means it will point out to the first record, as I told. Then you have to just give the first row data as your array name and just give action mode as buffer. Okay, and let's quickly run that and see whether we are able to store the first row of data in the form of arrays. Okay, so our test case is passed and let's check the log. Okay, 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 my bad. Here the sheet is already opened, the test case is not passed, sorry, I mistakenly. Okay, let's run and check whether the first row of data is getting stored in the form of array or not. So our test case is showing as passed. Okay, let's check the logs. Let me expand it and let's focus on this particular step. Buffer with name first row has been set to value. You can see the value has been stored like an array. You would have heard about buffered array concept, right, in the new version. So this is how we store the data in the form of array. And if you want to fetch this data, in other programming language, if you have a data in the array, you extract it. Okay, you fetch the data based on that index. Okay, index. So here also you can fetch the data like that. Okay, so let me just show you one small example. Okay, let me use the debug start buffer. Let me copy and paste here. Okay, and let me delete this step. How we access the buffer, the syntax will be same here, buffer. Okay, then we have to give here buffer name, which is our first row data. This is our buffer name, right? Now with that buffer name we have to give the index. Suppose if I give 1, that means the first index data should fetch. If I translate, it will give employee id. Okay, if I give 2, it will give me a name, employee name. You can see name I'm getting. So like that we have iterate array one module is there. Using that you can iterate over all these values. Okay, whatever array we have created here. Okay, which we have stored from the excel sheet, so that you can iterate and you can work with that data. Okay, so this is one small example I gave, like how you can get the data based on that index from that array. Okay, this is one new feature. This is a row wise. Okay, if in case if you want column wise, then what you have to do, just here you need to provide the column name. Suppose I gave employee id. Okay, I gave employee id here and passed emp id buffer. This is my, sorry, this is my buffer name. Okay, and I have given buffer. Now let me quickly run. Okay, and let's check whether we are able to store all employee IDs in an array. Okay, so let's quickly expand and check this one. This already we have seen. Now this employee ID, you can see here all the employees ID, it has been stored in a buffered, okay, in the form of array. Okay, so if you want column wise you can store, if you want row wise also you can store it. Okay, this feature you will get in the newer version. Okay, in the older version it is not available. Okay, so this is one other operation. Now we'll see some real time or interview purpose some questions. Okay, so let me create find repeated cell text. Okay, not file, sorry, it's find. Okay, so for example let's open the excel sheet. Okay, here we have a excel sheet. Okay, here for example now let's take example of age. Okay, 47. Okay, I can see few rows, okay, of employee data for who is having 47 age. Okay, so we will, what we will do, we will just find, okay, the question will be like, uh, just we need to find how many times this 47, okay, has been repeated. Okay, for example, so how you can perform that operation. Okay, so let me just close this Excel, and then we have to use the same here. Okay, this two modules. Okay, and we have to use the third module. Okay, the same one I'm copy pasting. Okay, copy pasting, and find cell text count. Okay, so these two steps will be common. Okay, same file we are accessing here, the steps will change. Okay, so now we want to find out how many times that 47 has been repeated. Okay, so for that, what we will use, we will use result count property. We will use result count. Okay, we will give RC and buffer. Okay, we want to find out count, result count of what we want to find out, how many times this 47. Okay, we will put constraint on a cell. Okay, how in my whole Excel sheet, how many times this 47 has been repeated. Okay, this is what our scenario is like. So what I have done, at row level I have put result count, and I have buffered it, I'm buffering it, and in the cell I am putting constraint because the data is available in the cell. Okay, so let's quickly run these three steps and see whether like how many account it is returning. Okay, so our test case, it is showing as passed. Okay, so let's check the log. It is showing buffer with RC has been set to 4. Let's go jump to the Excel sheet and let's count how many times that 47 has been repeated. So let me write 47 and just navigate. 1, 2, 3, and just 47 we need, right? 3, and this is 47, 4. Okay, after that we don't have a 47. Okay, so like that also you can search here. Just see here, sorry, I have given space. So if you put this 47, 1, 2, 3, and 4 times we have. Okay, in the sheet. Okay, in a Excel sheet. So if you want to this is for the whole Excel sheet. Okay, if in case you want to find out like for a particular column. Okay, for particular columns, like in the age column itself, how many times, okay, how many times a 22 has been repeated in the column, particular column. If interviewer asks like in a particular column I want. Okay, so what you can do here, you can select that, mention that column name here. Okay, age. Okay, for age column we want, and just give the value as 22. Okay, this is what we want, right? From the age column we want how many times a 22 has been repeated. So let's quickly run. Before that, let me close it and quickly run and just see how many times it is displaying the count. So let me expand. Okay, it is giving count as 5. Let's quickly jump to the sheet and let's verify. Okay, let me select this, control F, 22. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again it is moving to up. That means total 5 times 22 has been repeated. Okay, so like that we can get like how many times it has been repeated. Okay, so one more operation we will see. Okay, so suppose uh, we want to fetch Okay, we have seen one way how to get the data using how we can buffer. Okay, so buffer I think we have not seen, so let's check. Let's quickly see how we can buffer the data from sheet. Okay, so let's quickly copy this steps and paste it. Okay, so these two steps common, and let me delete this. Okay, so if you want to get the data from first row, you will use $1, and then either you can use um, say index as well, or else you can use column names like employee id. I want to buffer. Okay, employee id I will give buffer. Okay, if you want to buffer the second cell, like we have employee name, I think what we have only name here. Okay, we have only name, and we will just give one buffer name here. Okay, buffer. So buffer we gave as name. Okay, let me just give a small one so it will differentiate. Okay, so now I'm buffering only two columns from the first row. Okay, from the first record. Let me quickly run and show you. This is how we buffer. Okay, a single record if you want. Okay, so it should give me the first record, two column name, sorry, records, two cell records, employee id and the name. It is buffering. Okay, if you want, okay, if you want to buffer um, all the rows, okay, then again you have to use the same concept of repetition, where you will just change the number from here hard code to, you will change repetition, and then it will repeat that many times. First take the count, and in the repetition folder just pass the count, like how many records we have, then just change here, instead of one just change to repetition. Okay, and then it will iterate that many times, like how many rows you have, that many times it will iterate, and it will store the data in buffer. Okay, this is to buffer. Okay, using repetition. Okay, and individually if you want, you can buffer like this. Okay, and one more approach, let me tell you. Okay, for example, you have, you want to store data. Okay, you want to buffer the data for the employee. For example, let's take this employee Megan Ball. Okay, let's take that employee, and employee id just remember 1022, and age is 37. Just remember this data. Okay, employee id 22 and age 37, so we will store that data. Okay, so now I have copied the name. I want to store the data for that employee. So what I will do, I will just give the name here. Okay, name. Let me copy. I think I didn't copy it properly. Okay, so let's see the name. Okay, and let's jump here and paste here the name I have given here, and let me close this. What is the employee id? Age. Okay, employee id is 22. Okay, and age is 37. Okay, so I have directly given here no index, nothing. I have given directly, I have given the name, and action mode will be select. Okay, action mode will be select. In the cell, in the cell I want to buffer, what I want, buffer employee id. Okay, and I want age. Okay, so I will not buffer, I will directly verify. So what was that? Employee 1038, and age was 37, I believe. Okay, let me cross check once. Okay, Vegan ball 1022 and 37. Okay, so let it be 1038. Let it test case get fail. Okay, and then we will correct it, and then we will pass our test case. This will check one negative scenario here. So now our test case will get fail because employee ID for that particular employee it is wrong. Okay, you can see the clear message here, expected and actual. Verification is failed because expected was 1038 and actual is 1022. Okay, so we knew that this will get fail. Now let me correct it and then let me quickly run the test case. Okay, this time our test case should get pass. Okay, because we have mentioned the correct employee number. Okay, sorry, employee ID. So our test case is passed. Expected and actual will be the same. Okay, you can see here just verification was passed. Okay, so directly we mentioned here at the row level with the action mode is select and then we are verifying. Okay, this is another way to buffer the data. Okay, particular data. Okay, okay, so this is a few operations. Okay, using inbuilt modules. Okay, now let's quickly check. Okay, how we can perform these operations. Okay, using our database module, whether we can use Excel as a database or not. Okay, so let me quickly create one test case here, separate test case. Okay, Excel handling as using database. Okay, so we'll try to perform few operations. Okay, with using database module. Okay, so as you all know, to handle any queries or to database, we have a database module. Okay, so we are going to use DB expert module. Okay, so let me drag and drop here. So first what we will do, I'll create one folder and then we will take that, we'll get the row count. Okay, we'll get the row count from the Excel sheet. Okay, so for that what we have to do here, we have to mention the connection string. You can do it via ODBC setup also, but and you can do it via connection string also. Okay, so we will use connection string to connect to the Excel. Okay, and we will use Excel as a database. Okay, so connection name you can give any name like connection 1. Let me give connection 1, and DSN we are not using, we will use connection string. So let me just copy the connection string from um, one of my previous videos. Okay, so this is the connection string. Okay, now let me paste here. Okay, so connection string will, let me just change to a string and paste here. So you will be able to see the connection string. Okay, by default generic ODBC will reflect here. Okay, and this is the connection string, and the last one is the our Excel file path. Okay, so our Excel file path, since we are using the same Excel sheet, okay, so we will use this path. Okay, so let me copy and paste here. Okay, remove the double quotes from here. Now we have to, we have connected our Excel. Okay, now we have to work, we have to get the count. Okay, so this is the attribute where we have to write the query. This is how we write the query in the, for the database tables. Same way we can write the query to get data from Excel. So this is one SQLite database. Okay, this is one kind of database. So I have, what I have done, I have imported all the Excel sheet data, whatever data you are seeing in here in the Excel sheet. Okay, same set of data I have inserted into the SQLite DB. just to show you the queries, okay, just to show you the queries, how queries will work to fetch the data. Same queries it will work with Excel as well. Okay, so now let me just, there will be bit difference in the mentioning the column names. Okay, column, sorry, sheet name. Directly we will mention the table name, right? Like select, okay, then star from, normally you will give table name, so here we have to give sheet name. So we have sheet 1, then dollar sign, this is the syntax. Okay, let me remove equals sheet 1. Okay, so here we have given sheet 1, but in the DB how you write, just see the same for the same table. What you will write, select star from, our table name is employees. Okay, employees, if I run, it will give all the data. Okay, all 50 rows of data. Now if I want to get the count, what I will write here, select count, then star, and from employee, so it will give total count as 50. Okay, same way if I want to get the count, okay, this is, let me give, get the row count. Okay, get the row count. Okay, and I will give the same here, count star, then star, sorry, bracket. Now if I run this, it will give me data like this, result like this, not data. Okay, it will give me result like this. Okay, so now I have to buffer this data. Okay, so here it's the same concept for row and cell, here how we were using in Excel. So here also if we give $1, it will point out to this particular record. If you give #1 means it will point out to header count. Okay, and here one interesting thing here, say here, if I give #1, okay, and let me buffer, okay, let me buffer the count. Okay, and let me quickly run this. Okay, Excel file is not opened. If it is opened also, that is fine, it will work. Okay, now we should get a count as a 50. Okay, because we have 50 records in the Excel. So let me quickly expand. You can see we are getting value as 50. Okay, now you would be thinking why I didn't use $1 here. I can use $1 also, right? Okay, let's quickly run and see what it is, what a result it is buffering. See, our test case is getting failed here. Okay, just see the log. Okay, you see the log here, it is saying could not find $1, but if you see, you would be thinking, if we are running the query, we are getting, this is $1 means it should point to this particular cell, right? But here it is not like that. See, if you give #1 means it will point to out to first cell. Okay, first cell. If you give $1 means it will point out to second cell. Okay, if you give $0, then it will point out to your first cell. Okay, so just let's execute and see. This time it should buffer 50. Okay, now if you expand this and check, now we are getting value as 50. So $1 will point out to second cell. Okay, so if you want to cross check, okay, if you want to cross check, let me do one thing. Let me remove count and let me just give select star from sheet 1, so it will give all 50 records. After, in out of all 50, I want first record, second cell. Just let me here also, let me quickly copy this query and paste here, and instead of that, remove bracket count and give select star. So now if I give $1 and $1, it should pick this particular Michael. Okay, the employee name starting with Michael. Just let's see, $1 and just give some name. Okay, buffer 1. Okay, like that, and let's quickly run and cross verify. It should buffer Michael. Okay, let me expand and check the result. You can see it has buffered Michael. Okay, so if you are using let me go to test case. If you are using dollar, okay, then it will start, first cell will start from 0. If you are using hash means it will point out to the first cell. Same concept will be here. Like if you are using dollar one means it will point out to your first record. If you are using hash one means it will point out to your header. Okay, just remember this. Okay, so first let me just go back and let me give the same syntax. Let's not disturb this step. Count, and then we were buffering $1, okay, and then with the cell either hash 1 or $0 to get the count. Okay, buffer the count. Now this is method 1. Okay, there is one more method to get the row count. Like in Excel we were getting the count including header also, right? So here also you can get the count in two ways. Okay, if you give select star from sheet 1, and at the table level if you take the count like how we were taking in Excel, row count, RC, and then buffer. So this will give us the count. Okay, count, total record count including header. It will return 51. Okay, if you are using this method then it will give count as 51. You can check in buffer viewer RC. Okay, it is giving us record 51 including header. So again, if you want the actual record, then you have to do -1 math. You can use this is how we used while using the Excel module. Okay, so this two method 2. Okay, method 2, let me put charge. Okay, so this is method 2. Okay, now if you want to fetch any particular employee record, okay, based on the employee, okay, so what you can do here, simply you can write the query like select star from employee where emp id equals to employee id equals to your employee id. Okay, emp suppose 1001. Okay, for this particular employee id I want the data, so this it will return particular employee data. So same way with Excel you can perform the same operation with the Excel. Okay, get the employee data. Okay, now what I will do, select star from sheet. Here also you will use the same where condition, where emp id, this is the column name, equals to what is the emp employee id emp 1001. Okay, and instead of buffering here, what I will do, it will give me a single record, so it will be $1 for the record. Okay, and then cell. Okay, so either you can use like hash 1, hash 2, like that, or you can use column name also. Employee id, what are column names we have? Employee id, name. Okay, name, and we have age. Okay, same way we have company. Okay, sorry, company. Make sure you are writing correct column name, and here it will be buffer. Okay, we want to buffer. So let me quickly run this and check whether we are getting the data for this employee. You can see this is very fast as compared to that Excel modules. Okay, Just check the result. You can see employee 1001, Monique and 44. You can just compare here. We are getting the same set of data here. Okay, same set of data we are getting here. You can cross check few columns I have used. Those columns data you can cross check here we are getting. So if you want all the columns, then you have to mention all the column names here and just give the action mode as buffer, so it will buffer all the data. Okay, this is like a single row of data we are buffering based on the employee. Okay, we are putting where condition and then we are getting the data. Okay, if in case if you want to fetch all the data, if you want to store all the data, means again the same concept here. After getting the count, you will create a folder, repetition folder, and then inside repetition folder you will put this particular test tab, and here instead of one you will give a repetition and you will remove this where condition. Okay, if you put where condition means it will return only one row, right? So you want to iterate for all the rows, then the query will be select star from sheet 1. So you have 50 records, 50 times it will iterate and your data will get stored. Okay, so now there is one operation which we performed. Okay, like to finding the count, like how many times that particular cell text is repeated in the Excel sheet. Okay, so using query also we can uh, find the same. Okay, find the repeated cell text. Okay, so here we will use the query. Okay, so what we have to write the query, see here, just let me write query here. If we want to find out, okay, so this is also our same data which we have in Excel. So let me just take out like we can check how many times this sales. Okay, for example sales, how many times this sales, okay, repeated in my Excel sheet. Okay, this is the same sheet data we have here in DB. So I, instead of opening Excel sheet directly, I am checking the data from the table. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, so I want to check how many times this cells has been repeated. Okay, so like in particular column, like in department. Okay, so how you can write here the query, select, okay, count, select count star, okay, from employees where um, department equals to what is that, sales. Okay, it is showing 11 times it has been repeated. So through that Excel query also we should get count as 11. Okay, so let's see where department, okay, department equals to sales. Okay, and it will display the data. Okay, it will display the data in the first row, first cell. Okay, so let's see the count. Okay, and buffer. Okay, let's quickly run and check. We should get the data how many times, 11. Okay, so let's see here. We, okay, one second, select star. Okay, sorry, we are using star, we should use count, my bad. Okay, we should use count. Okay, count star, and then we have to run the test case. Let's see, this time we are getting value as 11. Okay, and here also you can see 11. Just to cross check, I have imported all the data here. Okay, so that we can write query from DB as well as we can query from the Excel sheet and we can cross check. So we are getting 11. Okay, so 11 times the sales has been repeated that particular column. Okay, Now let's see one more scenario which we have already seen in my previous video, but let's see once again. Okay, so for example, we have this age column, right? So we want to find the sum of any columns. Okay, like if you have any salary column, okay, some columns is there. If you want to find the sum of the columns, okay, then for example age here. So if you do the sum of age, okay, so how much total you will get. So that also we can do it, okay, through query. Let's sum of columns, okay. So let me first write here the query, then we will replicate the same query. Select sum is a function, okay. Select sum and the column name age from employees, okay. So this should give me the sum of the age of all the employees, okay. So we are getting 2058, okay. So let's quickly write the same query for Excel. So let's use the same function, okay. Sum and then age, okay, from sheet 1, and then it will store in first cell, okay, first record, first cell. Let's buffer it and we should get the total count as 2058, okay. So see here we are getting count as 2058, okay. So like that you can perform other operation as well, but we have already I think we reached 1 hour, okay. So this is what I wanted to show you, okay, with the both using Excel module as well as you can use as a database. You can query and get your data, required data, and when you compare both, this will be more faster than the uh, we, uh, than as compared to the modules, okay, inbuilt modules, okay. Okay, that's all for these scenarios. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can comment it. Okay, just try to replicate the same. Okay, and believe me, if you are able to replicate all these operations, okay, and if you are able to do it from your own, this is more than enough to handle any scenarios related to the related to Excel file. Okay, okay, thank you. Bye bye.